Noah was born as the 13th son of the royal family, and as one of the king's many sons, he opened his eyes for the first time to see a kind woman smiling down at him, making him wonder if she was his mother or just a maid caring for him. But before he could think further, an old man with a long beard leaned in close, and Noah soon realized this man was his father, the king, who carefully examined him from head to toe, smiling as he said Noah looked just like his mother, causing the woman to shy away and say that Noah's eyes and eyebrows actually looked like the king's. And during all this, Noah noticed strange numbers and words floating before his eyes like game stats that he did not yet understand, until a court mage stepped forward, gently picked him up, and announced that Noah had a water magic affinity, making the king laugh happily and say that when Noah grew older, he would give him the southern lands where many water mages lived so Noah could rule them fairly. After which, the king asked the mage to check Noah's full stats, and when they appeared, the entire court went silent, as even the king looked shocked. Someone shouted that it was a miracle, others joined in, and Noah, confused, checked his own stats only to realize he had the power of an SS rank water mage, something unheard of at birth. 6 years later, Noah had grown into a healthy young boy and learned about the peaceful kingdom of Mears, ruled by his father, a land with no wars where the king and his sons were loved by both commoners and nobles, though Noah himself was not interested in politics because he had discovered a secret ability that allowed him to gain experience points from his subordinates, meaning the more maids he had, the stronger he became, allowing him to grow without limit and possibly become the strongest mage in the world. And while his loyal maids often said he acted more mature than other children, one morning at breakfast, Noah thought about how his skills were still limited due to his age, but believed that with training he would grow quickly and surpass his older brothers, until his thoughts were interrupted by a beautiful maid named Evelyn who told him the crown prince and the fourth prince had come to see him, causing Noah to hurry and finish his meal so as not to keep the crown prince waiting, then enter the guest room, kneel politely, and greet his brothers, Prince Albert and Prince Henry, where Albert stared at him coldly and questioned him, while Henry spoke kindly and praised his manners. After which, Albert said Noah would make a good chancellor one day, and revealed he had brought a gift, clapping his hands to summon a frightened servant carrying a small coffin that gave off a dark, frightening aura, confusing Noah until Albert ordered it opened, releasing a terrible presence that felt like death itself and revealing a sword inside, which made Noah feel chills. And before he could calm down, Albert ordered him to pick it up, forcing Noah to carefully lift the blade despite its size because he could not refuse royal gift, prompting Albert to smile and explain that the sword was Leviathan, a special weapon made for water mages that had killed over 120 people who tried to wield it before, scaring Noah so badly he almost dropped it, until Henry reassured him that if the sword had rejected him, he would have died instantly. And with that, both princes left as Noah bowed politely, thinking to himself how cruel his own older brother was for testing him with such a dangerous gift for no reason. But no one knew that if he ever said those thoughts out loud, it would surely cost him his life. So later that evening, while he was getting ready for bed, he noticed that one of his maids looked very nervous. And when he asked if she was all right, the maid, named Zoe, hesitated at first, but finally knelt down and admitted that her village had been flooded, her home destroyed, and her family left starving, and she planned to sell herself in the red light district to earn enough money to help them, which made Noah immediately tell her to stop speaking, saying she was his personal maid and he could not allow her to leave for that long, then calmly instructing her to bring her mother to the estate, where he would give her mother a job as the rear gate closer with a monthly pay of $5,000, confusing Zoe since she had never heard of such a position and thought the pay was far too high. But Noah reassured her and also told her that there was an empty house on the western edge of the capital where she and her mother could live, causing Zoe to tear up in disbelief just as Dylan, the house butler, arrived and asked if Noah needed anything, prompting Noah to ask whether Dylan knew about the flood in Zoe's hometown and instruct him to buy as much land in that area as possible, which confused Dylan since it sounded like a terrible investment, until Noah explained that if they did not act quickly, criminals would take over the land and harm the people further, shocking Dylan so much that when Noah asked what was wrong, he admitted he was simply amazed at how wisely Noah was handling the situation like an experienced adult despite his young age, while Noah silently thought about the destruction he had witnessed in his previous life, something he could never reveal. and when Dylan estimated that buying all the land would cost around $70 million, Zoe was shocked, and even Noah knew it was an enormous amount, considering his retainers earned only $80,000 a year, and he himself had $50 million from taxes and gifts, leaving a $20 million shortfall, leading Noah to decide they would sell the land south of the capital, which stunned Dylan since it was a gift from the king, and selling it would insult the royal family. But Noah dismissed the concern and said he would handle his father later, explaining that nobles must sometimes sacrifice themselves for the peace and happiness of their people, while knowing that such actions would also earn public support. After which Dylan bowed deeply and left to prepare everything. And the next morning, Noah gathered his group of maids to head out for an inspection of the flooded region, until the fourth prince, Henry, stopped him, greeting him warmly and asking where he was going. To which Noah replied that a place called Dasa had been completely flooded, and he planned to inspect the damage and buy land there, causing Henry to notice the sword Albert had given Noah and ask if he planned to use it, with Noah replying that he carried it only as a precaution, since he still felt no difference from it after touching it the first time. Henry quietly pulls Noah away from curious eyes and tells him that he has been worried about the strange sword and Albert's sudden kindness, so he secretly looked into it and discovered that the sword seems to be alive in its own way and will only obey someone it accepts as its true master, making Noah remember the vision he saw of all the people who tried to control it before and died, helping him understand that the sword is like a wild beast that must be tamed before it can truly be used, and Henry warns him to be very careful and not to use it unless there is no other choice, because he has a bad feeling that the sword could take Noah's life just as it did to hundreds of others. After which, Noah heads to the flooded region of Dasa and is shocked by how badly the land has been destroyed, telling Dylan to locate the nearest government office and gather the land ownership records, while Noah himself enters the village with Zoe to understand the situation better, where he sees people lining up in weak shelters to receive government food, which makes him briefly feel relieved until he tastes the watery porridge being served and realizes how terrible it is, leaving him angry that the government could allow such poor care. And just as he is about to demand the local official, a man named Lord Garl arrives for inspection, but instead of fixing the problem, Garl pinches his nose, glances at the food, and says it is good enough, making the cooks happy as they continue cheating the people. And when the head cook tells Garl that his personal meal is waiting at the mansion, he turns to leave immediately, which pushes Noah past his limit as he steps forward and insults Garl harshly, attacking his pride so badly that the furious official pulls out his sword, forcing Noah to call out to Leviathan, hoping it would respond, and the sword flies toward him, but instead of obeying easily, it fights back, burning Noah with its dark power, yet Noah refuses to give up and pushes through the pain until he finally overpowers the blade and claims control over it. And once that happens, Garl stands no chance as Noah blocks his attack and declares that anyone who cheats suffering people during a disaster deserves death, ending him with a single strike that shocks everyone, causing guards to rush in, but Noah slams the sword into the ground and creates a massive crater that freezes everyone in fear, drawing the attention of a knight named Rowan, the newly appointed regional manager, who recognizes Noah at once and kneels before him, leading everyone else to kneel as well, while Noah calmly orders Rowan that the first priority is to make sure everyone receives proper food, prompting Rowan to apologize deeply and immediately begin fixing the situation. After returning, Noah is immediately summoned to the capital by his father, and while he expects a harsh scolding, he is surprised when the king instead praises him for making the right decisions at the right time, and even checks Noah's stats again, noticing that they have grown since the last time he saw them, then thanks Noah for his help, and tells him that he will need his support in continuing to rule the kingdom wisely. And after a few days pass, Noah remains in the capital since it is the heart of the kingdom and the most prosperous place, filled with talented people searching for opportunity, which fits perfectly with Noah's plan to recruit someone talented for himself so he can grow stronger faster, leading him to set his sights on a young girl rumored to be a wonderful rising singer. So he learns which theater she will perform at and sits down with Zoe to judge her skills. And soon, a young girl wearing a top hat named Allie walks onto the stage, stage and begins to sing, instantly capturing Noah's attention as he realizes that while she may not be the most technically perfect singer, her love for singing is clear and genuine, making him believe that with proper guidance she could become truly great. But before her performance can finish, several thugs burst into the theater and loudly demand that Ali stop singing, freezing the audience in fear as the men approach the stage. And when a worker tries to stop them, he is roughly shoved aside before one of the men jumps onto the stage and demands money, saying that singing will never earn enough to pay her father's debts, causing Ali to tremble as she begs for time and promises to repay them, only for the thug to mock her and suggest disgraceful ways of earning money quickly, which Ali firmly refuses as she says she has self-respect, prompting the man to threaten her, at which point Noah steps in and orders him to back away from the girl, earning a cruel insult in response. Yet Noah calmly walks toward the stage and explains that imperial law forbids forcing children to repay their parents' debts and also forbids forcing anyone to sell themselves, making the thug furious enough to grab Noah and lift him up while threatening his life, not realizing who Noah truly is. And with a simple flick of his fingers, Noah releases a powerful purple aura that knocks all the thugs to the ground, causing them to panic as Noah draws his sword and points it at their leader, forcing the men to flee in fear. After which, Zoe helps the injured worker while Noah tells him to report any future troublemakers directly to him. And when Zoe hands the worker a card revealing Noah's true identity as a prince, the man is left stunned, though Noah ignores the attention and calmly asks Ali about her monthly expenses. And after thinking carefully, she replies that she needs around $600 a month due to her family's medical needs, prompting Noah to tell her that he will instead pay her $2,500 each month so she can focus fully on improving her singing.
She is completely shocked by his offer and can hardly believe what she is hearing, while Noah calmly tells her that her pay will also increase as she continues to improve, then asks her to finish the song because he truly wants to hear the ending before returning to his seat. And later that night, when Noah comes back home, he is welcomed by his maids but quickly notices the same thugs from earlier kneeling on the ground with their heads lowered, begging for a chance to apologize, and Noah understands that they have only now realized that he is a prince of the kingdom, but he shows no interest in meeting them and tells his maid to send them away, saying that a prince does not have time to meet random people, just as his older brother Henry arrives and agrees with his choice, explaining that giving them attention would weaken Noah's authority, though Noah adds that he also wants the men to believe he is still very angry about what they did to the girl, so they will be too scared to bother her again, which makes Henry curious about who the girl is and why Noah cares so much, prompting Noah to explain that she is a talented singer who could become a great asset to the kingdom if she continues to improve, making Henry smile and say that even at a young age, Noah thinks like an adult, unlike Gary, who acts childish despite being close in age, to which Noah politely replies that Gary will understand things eventually, while privately knowing that Henry and Gary are true brothers from the same mother, while he is not. After which Henry brings up the sword and admits that he never thought Noah would actually master it, asking where the sword is and how Noah carries something so large, leading Noah to stand up and summon the sword using magic, shocking Henry, who jokingly asks how he hid it, only for Noah to explain that he shrinks the blade and hides it inside his sleeve, leaving Henry speechless as he sits back down and says that Noah continues to amaze him, since the sword had been sealed away as a cursed national treasure for over 200 years and no one in history had ever conquered it. And later that night, when Noah heads to a celebration he was invited to, he sees the thugs still kneeling, causing the fat leader to lose his temper and shout threats, but Noah simply releases a small amount of power from his sword that forces the man back to his knees, after which Noah enters his carriage and soon arrives at the venue, where an old man named Rai welcomes him inside, and the ballroom immediately fills with excitement as word spreads that the 13th prince has arrived.
Rai asks Noah about the sword he is carrying, and Noah calmly replies that it is the legendary sword once believed to be cursed and that it was given to him by the crown prince Albert, which immediately amazes everyone in the room as they begin whispering about how receiving a personal gift from the crown prince is a great honor, But one man with a weak ego loudly scoffs and claims the sword must be a fake toy, not realizing everyone can hear him, causing the room to fall completely silent as all eyes turn to Noah while the man begins shaking in fear. Yet Noah does nothing at all as a terrifying aura suddenly pours out of the sword and fills the entire hall, making everyone feel frozen and close to death, until Noah calmly orders the sword to stop and the pressure instantly disappears, leaving Rai stunned as he says everyone felt death brush past them. And soon after, Noah sits on a small throne while guests line up to greet him and seek his favor, though most of them bore him, until a blonde man named Alan steps forward and introduces himself along with his adopted daughter Cindy, who seems unusually alert around Noah, though Noah ignores it and asks how Alan adopted her, prompting Alan to explain that he once bought her from a slave market but was impressed by her strong will, quick learning, and sharp mind, and since he had no children of his own, he chose to raise her as his daughter, which makes Noah smile as he says he likes such stories and invites them both to his mansion to talk more, pleasing Alan greatly, though Noah later explains to Rai that the real reason he noticed them was because Cindy could somehow sense his power, proving it by releasing a small bit of energy from his sword, which Cindy instantly reacts to by looking around for danger. And a few days later, while Noah is walking through the market, he meets the 8th prince, Oscar, who joins him as they browse stalls together until Noah finds a strange old book that suddenly upgrades one of his stats to S rank the moment he touches it, making him buy it instantly while noticing his sword reacting to it. And Oscar recognizes the book as an ancient magic tome just before it opens on its own and releases a huge monster into the street, causing Oscar to tell Noah to retreat to safety, but Noah instead draws his sword and faces the creature, failing to cut it down at first before adding more magic to his next strike and aiming upward to avoid damage, instantly destroying the monster and leaving Oscar stunned by how powerful his younger brother has become, which causes a nearby shopkeeper to rush forward, bow deeply, and beg Noah to look at an item in his shop that he claims could be a true treasure, leading them back inside where he presents a magical ring that has never accepted an owner and asks Noah to try it on.
Noah puts the ring on his thumb, and the moment he does, its magic activates and covers his entire body in beautiful armor, shocking the shopkeeper, while Noah likes it so much that he decides to buy it immediately, though Oscar stops him and insists that the ring will be a gift from him instead. And after that, Noah heads back to the theater to watch Ali sing, but as soon as he steps out of the carriage, the fat thug attacks him with a sword, which Noah calmly blocks using a shield created by the ring, while the carriage driver quickly overpowers and captures the attacker, something Noah no longer bothers about as he enters the theater and finds Ollie dealing with 2 drunk men fighting over her, prompting Noah to step in and use magic to destroy their clothes and scare them away, after which he calls the theater owner and expresses his disappointment with the poor security before offering to buy the entire place. And though the owner hesitates, Zoe instantly brings out $100,000, convincing him to sell right away, making Zoe thank Noah deeply while he tells her to focus on singing because he wants her to perform for the king someday. And as Ali sings a special song just for him, Noah enjoys the moment, but the next day his maids help him get ready and inform him of an appointment with a man named Dead, the governor of the region of Holjoy that belongs to Noah's land, leading Noah to invite him in and listen as Dead formally introduces himself and explains that they met before when he was appointed governor by the emperor, after which Noah asks about the condition of Holjoy, especially after a major flood, and Dead's troubled expression reveals that things are going badly since Holjoy is an important farming region that often suffers floods. And although Dead was chosen because of his experience with water magic, he explains that the main problem is a lack of funds, shocking Noah because imperial orders were given to release money for rebuilding, only for Dead to explain that the home ministry keeps blocking the funds with excuses, making Noah understand the issue and immediately take Dead with him to confront the finance minister, Maverick, who is casually eating breakfast when Noah demands to know why the rebuilding money is being withheld. And although Maverick tries to justify himself by saying Holjoy was exempted from taxes for the year and should use that saved money to rebuild, Noah quickly shuts him down by reminding him that taxes were cancelled because the people had no money left at all after the flood.
Noah angrily asks Maverick how he dares to speak as if the people of Hulljoy have money, and then questions whether Maverick is looking down on him just because he's a child, which makes Maverick panic and quickly change his excuse, now claiming that the Ministry of Finance cannot release funds because they're busy building a grand summer retreat for the Emperor, along with an entire city to give him the luxury he deserves, causing Dead to lose hope since the Emperor's name is involved. But Noah reminds the old man to stop speaking nonsense because saying the Emperor wants luxury while his people are suffering is deeply disrespectful, making Maverick realize how serious his mistake is and immediately fall to his knees begging forgiveness and promising to release the funds to Hulljoy at once, while ordering his servants to act quickly, after which Noah calmly sits back down with his tea, leaving Dead amazed by how easily Noah exposed a skilled liar, praising his sharp thinking and apologizing for trying to rely on Noah's status to pressure the minister, though Noah understands Dead only wanted to help his people and holds no grudge. And once the funds are secured, Dead leaves immediately to rebuild his land, only for a palace messenger to arrive and summon Noah urgently to see the Emperor, prompting Noah to rush back to the palace where he finds his father calmly feeding pigeons, and the Emperor praises Noah for cleverly defeating the greedy finance minister, surprising Noah since the events just happened. But the Emperor explains that information is the greatest weapon and must always be sharpened, advice that Noah takes to heart as he humbly says he only did what felt right, leading the Emperor to reply that doing the right thing is hard for most people because they get distracted by praise, then gently pat Noah's head and say that at just 6 years old he already surpasses many adults, before praising him for mastering the legendary sword Leviathan and warning him of its dark history, then telling Noah that power alone is not enough and he must learn proper sword techniques, revealing that he has arranged a sword instructor for him, at which point a seasoned knight named Damien kneels before them and is introduced as the greatest swordsman in the Empire, and Damien respectfully asks permission to spar with Noah so he can judge the young prince's true skill before becoming his teacher. The Emperor gives his permission, showing that he fully trusts Damien, and Damien draws his large sword and tells Noah to attack however he wants. So Noah takes his stance, but feels Leviathan resisting him again, forcing him to calm the blade before striking. And when he attacks, Damien is impressed by his very first move, as memories from the sword's past wielders suddenly flow into Noah's mind, allowing him to use their experience to quickly disarm Damien within a few exchanges, after which Damien admits defeat and tells the Emperor that Noah's skill is already equal to a swordmaster and there is nothing left for him to teach, making the Emperor laugh proudly as he rewards Noah by appointing him the head judge of this year's knight selection exam, a role Noah happily accepts because the strongest warriors from across the empire take part in it, and the winner can rise to nobility and serve directly under the head judge, which would help Noah grow even stronger. And when the Emperor asks whether the exam should use eliminations or a league system, Noah instead makes a bold request to cancel all regional preliminaries and hold the entire exam in the capital, so no talented warrior is unfairly eliminated, a request the Emperor fully approves. And after returning home, Noah talks with Zoe about the exam and learns that her village usually sends only one fighter because they cannot afford travel, food, and lodging in the capital, prompting Noah to decide to cover all expenses himself so no one loses before even fighting, ordering Dylan to buy empty houses in the capital and build dormitories if needed, while also arranging food supplies through merchants and personally speaking with Alan, who gives him a very low estimate, which Noah realizes is a loss for him and questions why, leading Alan to admit that he is interested in the palace servant selection exam held alongside the knight exam and wants insight into who gets chosen, allowing Noah to quickly understand his plan but also admire his honesty. And despite Alan's nervous attempts to deny hidden motives, Noah decides to support him anyway, impressed by his sharp thinking and careful planning. Noah tells Alan that if there's a girl he truly approves of, he will gladly recommend her for work at the palace, which excites Alan greatly, though Noah quickly warns him not to rush because the girl must fully meet his expectations, a condition Alan happily accepts as he signals to Cindy and promises to choose someone suitable, then kneels and thanks Noah sincerely for showing kindness and sharp judgment to a simple merchant like him, while asking permission to place the crest of the 13th prince on his shops as proof of loyalty. loyalty, which pleases Noah, though he firmly warns that any betrayal will never be forgiven. And after returning home, Noah notices his stats rise from taking Alan as a subordinate, but suddenly feels alarmed when one of his stats drops and his SS rank water attribute falls to a lower rank, making him fear something is wrong in his territory of Almeria. So he orders Zoe to rush him to the palace, where he meets the Emperor, who speaks in a way that tells Noah he already suspects trouble, and just as a servant confirms it, the Emperor reveals that a rebellion has begun in Almeria, asking Noah how serious he thinks it is. And Noah reasons that since only one stat dropped, the rebellion must still be small, which the Emperor confirms by saying there are about 5,000 rebels, then asks whether Noah wants to suppress it himself, but Noah honestly admits he lacks battle experience and worries soldiers may not follow him properly, suggesting instead that another prince handle it, surprising the Emperor with his maturity as he agrees and asks for a recommendation, leading Noah to suggest Henry, whom he trusts. And although Henry asks if Noah is sure about giving up the glory that could help his future, Noah replies that he needs more experience before leading men into danger. But suddenly Leviathan reacts to danger, and Noah orders the carriage to stop, realizing assassins are targeting him. So he jumps out as torches go dark and pillars of water attack from all sides, which he blocks by turning Leviathan into a shield, before swiftly defeating the water-using attackers with skilled swordplay, impressing Henry once again, as Noah explains he only knocked them unconscious so they could be questioned. But when Henry mentions the rebels mainly use cavalry, Noah realizes something is wrong since Almeria does not even have good war horses. The next day, Noah goes to Alan and secretly tells him that a rebellion has started in Almeria, then hands him $10,000 and orders him to immediately buy all the horse feed available in the market, because Noah has already figured out that the rebels bought their war horses from outside but still need local feed to keep them alive, and if they cannot get enough feed, their horses will weaken and the rebels will lose strength in battle. And soon after that, the Emperor summons Noah and tells him that his men interrogated the attackers and learned that they were not trying to kill Noah, but instead wanted to kidnap him and use him as leverage, though Noah calmly replies that any assassin who talks so easily is likely lying, which makes the Emperor proud of Noah's sharp thinking, as he assures him that there are reliable ways to tell the truth. And while Noah is not interested in such methods, he trusts his father's judgment. Then the Emperor praises Noah for acting quickly, because if Noah had been captured, the rebellion would have become much harder to control, and he is especially pleased that Noah targeted the rebels' horses rather than the soldiers, shocking Noah because he had only just given Alan that order, yet his father already knew. And the Emperor continues, saying that while starving the rebels was an obvious idea, and even Albert considered it, Noah's plan to weaken their horses using his own money was smarter and more humane, patting Noah's shoulder and praising his courage and quick action, making Noah feel deeply proud before the Emperor rewards him by granting permission to add a sword to his family crest, a rare honor in a warrior nation, where doing so without approval is punishable by death, and Noah struggles to hide his excitement. Later that day, Alan visits Noah and explains that buying all the horse feed will be easy since he knows every route and supplier, though he warns that Karun, the rebel leader, is a ruthless man. And just then, a maid reports an injured man at the gate, leading Noah to find a wounded knight who kneels and reports the rebellion, admitting his own commander joined it, but he refused and came to warn the prince instead. And while Alan says the knight risked his life for nothing since they already knew, Noah thanks the knight sincerely and orders his maids to treat his injuries.
He starts to walk away, but then turns back and orders the knight to be given a reward of $1,000, which makes Alan follow him and ask why he is wasting money on information he already knew. And Noah calmly replies that the reward is not for the information, but for the knight's loyalty and courage. And later that night, Zoe rushes into Noah's office looking extremely upset and collapses to the floor, prompting Noah to ask what is wrong, after which she nervously hands him a pouch with $500 and a small bottle, explaining that a mysterious man offered her the money and told her to put sleeping medicine into Noah's drink and then hand him over, making Noah realize the rebels are desperate to capture him. And when he asks why she brought the bottle to him instead, Zoe breaks down crying and says the men threatened to kill her if she refused, but she could never betray him. So Noah quietly writes her a check for $5,000 and tells her it is a reward for staying loyal, which overwhelms Zoe as she says she cannot accept it, but Noah gently insists, and then asks her to help him with a plan by pretending to drug him and handing him over before escaping, which terrifies her, but Noah is determined. And a few hours later, he wakes up tied in a remote area and overhears the kidnappers saying they must keep him alive under Karen's orders. So Noah waits until the drug wears off and then frees himself by pulling Leviathan from where he hid it and using his magic ring to cut the ropes, after which he checks the sword's memories and sees how the rebels ignored Zoe and carried him away. And once he understands everything, he prepares to face the rebels resting by a campfire, jumping down with his sword as they mock him and underestimate him, only for Noah to strike swiftly and defeat them one by one, declaring that they are fools for not realizing it was never Henry who beat their assassins. And after easily subduing them all, he notices Zoe arriving with a group of knights, explaining she came to rescue him, though it is no longer needed. So Noah orders the knights to take the rebels away, but when one rebel drops a strange dagger and a knight reaches for it, Noah senses a powerful curse and immediately stops everyone, stepping forward carefully as he remembers the rebels mentioning a cursed dagger meant to kill him if their plan failed.
Noah can feel the deep hatred left inside the cursed dagger, and for a short moment he even sees the face of the man who placed the curse, instantly recognizing him as the rebel leader. So he decides to deal with him personally and speaks to Leviathan, asking if it can help carry out his plan, since it should be easy for a legendary water sword. And Leviathan responds by glowing, allowing Noah to channel its cursed power and fire a stream of dark water high into the sky, far beyond the clouds and across the empire until it strikes the rebel leader. And the next day, the Emperor summons Noah again and bends down to pat his shoulders, praising him for the incredible feat after receiving a report that the rebel leader was found dead with a clean hole through his forehead caused by a powerful water attack, something only Noah could have done. And Noah calmly explains that he used the hatred in the cursed dagger to track the man and strike him from very far away, after which the rebellion quickly collapses, and Henry easily captures the remaining rebels, leading to a grand assembly where the Emperor orders a very harsh punishment. But Noah steps forward, kneels respectfully, and says that the punishment should follow the law instead of going beyond it, shocking everyone, including the Emperor. And Noah explains that breaking the law would harm the Emperor's reputation and the trust of the people, leaving the courts silent until the Emperor agrees and orders the law to be followed, while still giving the rebels the strongest punishment allowed, earning Noah praise from the entire court for his courage and wisdom. And even the Emperor feels proud that Noah corrected him for the right reason, deciding to reward him with a special title and declaring that Noah has proven himself clever and brave beyond his years, officially naming him the Wise Prince, a change that immediately appears in Noah's status, causing the court to cheer loudly as the Emperor then turns to Noah and asks about the progress of preparations for the upcoming Knight Selection exam.
Noah asks the Emperor for permission to explain his full plan later, and the Emperor agrees once the court meeting ends, after which they move to a fountain area where Noah calmly drinks tea while 4 servants stand around him holding buckets of water. And when Noah gives a signal, they try to splash him, but he easily blocks the water using the shield from his ring, confusing the Emperor, until Noah explains that during the Knight Selection exam, he plans to have all participants attack him in the same way and judge their skill by how close they can get to hitting him, which impresses the Emperor even though he worries about the danger. But Noah confidently says he can handle anyone strong enough to break through his defenses, earning the Emperor's admiration once again. And later that night, the Emperor walks to the throne room with the Prime Minister, who feels that the Emperor's earlier comment about Noah being born at the wrong time was unnecessary. But the Emperor simply laughs and says he meant it because Noah is truly special, though he is also worried about the immense power of Leviathan. And even though its full strength is still sealed, he orders a servant to bring out a special treasure, thinking that while Leviathan's true seal is said to never be broken, Noah might be the one person capable of controlling its full power. And that is where the story comes to an end for now.